Imagine sitting at a wedding so beautiful that every detail felt like a dream. Sparkling chandeliers, roses lining the aisles, guests dressed in shimmering gowns, and the bride glowing like the center of the universe. Yet, in the middle of all this beauty, one sight stood out in heartbreaking contrast: a young girl in a wheelchair, sitting quietly at the corner of the banquet hall, completely ignored as though she wasn't even there. That girl was the daughter of the CEO hosting the wedding. People whispered about her condition, avoided her gaze, and acted as if her existence was something inconvenient to acknowledge. But everything changed when one man, a single father nobody expected to matter in such a glamorous crowd, stood up and spoke for her. By the end of this story, you'll see why that single moment shook everyone to their core. Stay with me until the end, and if this story moves you even a little, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more inspiring stories that remind us what humanity truly means. The CEO's daughter, Emily, was only 12, and paralysis had stolen her ability to walk after a terrible car accident 2 years earlier. Before the accident, she had been radiant, always at her father's side at business events, the girl who charmed board members and employees with her innocent smile. But now, confined to her wheelchair, Emily felt invisible. At her father's second wedding, a glamorous affair where wealth and image were everything, she was seated far from the spotlight. Guests clinked glasses, laughed in circles, and congratulated the CEO and his new bride, but not one person bent down to greet the young girl, watching it all silently. Her eyes, once so full of life, dimmed as every guest passed her by, pretending not to notice her loneliness. Her father, too consumed with appearances, barely looked at her. His new wife focused only on impressing the influential guests. Emily's presence in their eyes was just a reminder of tragedy and weakness. She kept her hands folded on her lap, staring at the floor, listening to the music that felt louder than her heartbeat. The more laughter filled the room, the smaller she felt. She whispered to herself, "Maybe I don't belong here. Maybe I never will." Then came a man unlike the others at the wedding. Daniel, a single father, wasn't dressed in designer clothes. His suit was modest, not tailored. He wasn't there to flaunt status but to celebrate, because his younger brother was the groom's best man. Daniel walked into the hall with his little daughter, Lily, who held his hand tightly. She was curious and shy but noticed Emily right away. Unlike the adults who turned away, Lily's eyes lingered on the girl in the wheelchair. She tugged on her father's hand and whispered, "Daddy, why is she sitting alone?" Daniel looked at Emily and instantly felt a heaviness in his heart. He had been raising Lily alone since his wife left them, and he knew what loneliness felt like. He recognized the same silence in Emily's eyes that he had seen in his daughter's during nights she cried for her mother. Without hesitation, Daniel walked over to Emily. The guests noticed but didn't care enough to intervene. Some even smirked as though thinking, "What does he think he's doing?" Daniel crouched down beside Emily and smiled warmly. "Hi there, I'm Daniel. And this is my daughter, Lily. You look like you could use some company." Emily blinked, stunned that someone had spoken directly to her. Slowly, she nodded. Lily immediately grinned and stepped closer. "Do you want to be friends?" she asked. It was such a simple question, but one that Emily hadn't heard from anyone in a long time. Her lips trembled, and for the first time that evening, she whispered back, "Yes!" The three of them talked while the wedding continued around them. Daniel asked about her favorite music, her favorite books, and what she liked to do. Emily's face lit up, the walls around her heart slowly breaking. For a brief moment, she forgot about the whispers, the stares, and the pain of being overlooked. She laughed softly at first, then more freely as Lily shared silly stories. That laugh caught the attention of the room. Heads turned confused as they realized the CEO's daughter wasn't silent anymore. Then something powerful happened. When the music for the father-daughter dance began, Emily's father stepped onto the dance floor with his new wife. Emily lowered her head, her hands trembling on the wheels of her chair. She wanted nothing more than to be part of that moment, but she knew she couldn't. That's when Daniel did the unthinkable. He stood up, lifted his hand, and addressed the crowd. "Excuse me, everyone," he said firmly. The music softened, and the guests turned toward him. "I think there's someone here who deserves to be celebrated tonight. Someone who's been overlooked." He walked over to Emily, placed his hand gently on her shoulder, and continued, "This young lady is the bravest person in this room. She has fought battles most of us can't imagine, and yet she sits here with a heart full of kindness and strength. Why should she be hidden away when she deserves to shine? The hall went silent. The CEO froze, embarrassed, unsure how to react. The bride's smile faltered, but the truth in Daniel's words was undeniable. Then Daniel bent down and asked Emily softly, "May I have this dance?" Tears welled in her eyes. "But I can't dance," she whispered. "Yes, you can," he replied, "because dancing isn't about steps. It's about being seen." He gently wheeled her onto the dance floor as lilies skipped beside them. The band, touched by the moment, adjusted their tune to a softer, slower melody. Daniel moved her chair gracefully with the rhythm, spinning her gently as though she were floating. For the first time in years, Emily felt like she was part of the light. The guests, moved beyond words, began clapping. Some wiped tears from their eyes. Even the CEO, watching his daughter's radiant smile, realized how badly he had failed her. He stepped forward, his voice breaking. "Emily, forgive me," he said, kneeling beside her. The weight of years of neglect pressed down on him, but Emily, with her tender heart, simply whispered, "I just wanted you to see me." The wedding that was supposed to showcase wealth became remembered for something far greater. A moment of humanity, courage, and love. Daniel, the single father who had nothing compared to the CEO's riches, taught everyone a lesson money could never buy: the power of kindness. From that night forward, Emily was never left in the shadows again. Her father changed, becoming present in her life, cherishing every moment he had with her. Daniel and his daughter became part of their world too, proof that sometimes the people with the least to give materially offer the greatest gifts of all: compassion and courage. And so, the ignored girl became the heart of the celebration, not because of wealth or status, but because one man dared to see her when no one else would. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more powerful stories. Let's remind the world that no one deserves to be invisible, and sometimes, one voice is all it takes to change everything.